Somewhere, a long time ago, someone put a plant in their mouth and never got to swallow it. Today, you scan a label before eating anything unfamiliar. You trust a tiny paragraph of ingredients to keep you alive. That label exists because someone, somewhere, already tested it, so you don't have to. Now rewind 300,000 years ago. No labels, no ingredients list, no warnings at all. Just endless plants, roots, mushrooms, berries, and no way to know which ones would kill you. One bite, no hospital, no antidote, just you and whatever happens next. And yet, somehow humans figured it out, enough to survive, enough to pass it on. So how did people, with nothing but their eyes, nose, and tongue, learn what not to eat? The answer involves centuries of near misses, one very useful sense of disgust, and a surprising amount of watching monkeys. Let's go back to the beginning. Clue 1. Your own tongue is basically an ancient alarm system. Bitter taste receptors, we have about 25 different types, way more than for sweet. Because bitterness, in nature, usually means toxin inside. Out of more than 500,000 known flowering plant species on Earth, only a small fraction are actually dangerous. Finding out which ones took a very long time. Babies are born already hating bitter flavors before they've learned anything at all. It's not a preference, it's inherited survival, hardwired in. Clue 2. Smell. An off scent usually means dangerous bacteria. Long before you even taste it, disgust evolved as a shortcut so you didn't have to test everything the hard way. Clue 3. Watching. Capuchin monkeys watch an experienced group member try new food first. If it makes them sick, they remember and avoid it after that. Ancient humans almost certainly did the same. But learning from one bad experience only gets you so far. Because with humans, it wasn't just one lifetime of learning, it stacked, generation after generation. Humans had a second trick evolution never gave quite like this: language. One person's mistake could be told, instead of buried. Around a fire, one person's close call became everyone's warning. Anthropologists today still find hunter-gatherer groups carrying detailed plant knowledge, hundreds of species, memorized, without a single written page. But knowing which plant was dangerous in the first place, someone had to find that out, and that part is hard to hear. Paleoanthropologists have actually found evidence of this. A skeleton known as KNMI 1808, a woman who lived 1.7 million years ago in what's now Kenya, has bones scarred by what looks like severe vitamin A poisoning. Researchers think she'd eaten too much liver from a meat-eating animal. Livers store enormous amounts of vitamin A, too much of it, and her own body turned against her. She wasn't careless, she was hungry, in a world with no way to know the food that was feeding her was also the food that was killing her. Every food taboo passed down through generations was, most likely, once written in a tragedy just like hers. A tiny amount touched to the lips first. If it tingled or burned, it was rejected outright. If it felt fine, a small amount was tasted, then waited on for hours before eating any more. This step-by-step caution has a name today, the Universal Edibility Test, and it mirrors testing methods foragers used for millennia. Take cassava, a root that's a staple food for hundreds of millions of people today. Raw, it contains compounds that release cyanide inside the body. And yet communities across Africa and South America have safely eaten it for generations, thanks to soaking, fermenting, and cooking that breaks the toxin down completely. A parent showing a child the exact same steps their own parent once showed them, patience passed down like a recipe for staying alive. On the other side of the world, Aboriginal Australians faced an even harder problem: psychid seeds, packed with a neurotoxin strong enough to cause paralysis. The seeds were pounded, then left in slow-running water for days, sometimes over a week, before they were finally safe to eat. To safely eat just one kind of seed, an entire community's patients had to survive nearly a week before their own survival even began. High in the Andes, wild potatoes were so bitter and toxic they were barely edible on their own, until someone had an oddly simple idea. Dip each toxic bite into a bowl of mineral-rich clay first. The clay itself absorbs the poison. Possibly the first side dish in human history was a bowl of mud. And elders, the ones who had survived long enough to remember every mistake, became the most valuable resource a group had. Losing an elder wasn't just an emotional loss. It could mean losing decades of hard-won, unwritten food knowledge. Cooking itself might be one of humanity's greatest, quietly overlooked poison defense inventions. Heat breaks down toxins in dozens of plants that would otherwise be dangerous raw. So by now, you'd think ancient humans had truly cracked it. Real science, tested by trial, passed down hand to hand, generation to generation. Confident, capable, in full control of the one thing that could kill them fastest. Right. Not exactly. Even the most careful testing couldn't catch everything. Some toxins took days to show a problem. Mushrooms are still one of the trickiest categories today. Many deadly ones, like the death cap, taste completely fine going down. Some of the most poisonous mushrooms on earth taste pleasant, mild, even good. And it wasn't only ordinary people caught off guard. Centuries later, kings, with all their power and wealth, were just as easily fooled. And well, enough is the whole story of human survival, not perfect knowledge, just enough accumulated caution to make it to the next generation. European and Persian royalty believed stones formed inside animal stomachs, bezoars, could neutralize poison. They'd drop one straight into their wine before a single sip. Taste, smell, watching others, testing rituals, culture, cooking, even clever failures, like a bezoar, that gave people just enough confidence to keep trying. None worked alone. Together, they worked well enough. Kings even kept a person whose entire job was to eat their food first. But a taster couldn't catch a poison that took days to show symptoms, or one a skilled hand had learned to hide completely. And here's something stranger. Your own instincts still carry traces of all this. Somewhere in a food inspector's clipboard, a caveman's careful lip test still lives on, just wearing a lab coat now. The tools changed completely. Labels, refrigerators, food science labs. We didn't outgrow that fear of the unknown bite. We just outsourced it to institutions. Silver cutlery was trusted the same way, supposedly turning black at the touch of poison. In truth, it only reacts to sulfur in eggs or garlic, not most real poisons, right by accident, almost never by design. But the underlying question hasn't changed even slightly in 300,000 years. Is this safe to put inside my body? In 1567, a French royal physician tested this on a condemned prisoner, poison, then a bezoar. He died anyway. Yet the belief survived almost 2,000 years regardless. Every food you eat safely today exists because that messy, imperfect system held, over and over, for thousands of generations. Milk that smells slightly off, a dish you've never tried. A vegetable a kid refuses, a date stamp you double-check. Every ingredient list, every food safety label, every expiration date you glance at, it's the exact same instinct, just written down instead of memorized. Which means the trust your senses, trust your tools system, however clever, was never truly foolproof, for anyone, rich or poor. This is the real twist. It wasn't one clean invention that kept people safe. Not a tongue, not a stone, not a shiny fork. It was layers of imperfect systems stacked together. Somewhere back then, someone bit into the wrong plant so the next person wouldn't have to, then the next, and the next. Every safe meal today is really the end of an unbroken chain of caution, stretching back further than any of us can picture. So next time you glance at a label, without even thinking about it, look closer. Behind you, an unbroken line of ancestors is still standing guard. It wasn't built by one genius. It was built by thousands of quiet, careful no thank you's, repeated over hundreds of thousands of years.